Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome into Uncle Jimmy's podcast. Let's take a quick minute to thank our sponsor, at Ferg's Custom Cards. You can find him on Instagram and Facebook. What he does is he creates a custom card for anything you like, anything you can think of. Ferg will make it. But unfortunately, due to the tariffs, he's not shipping to the States. Unfortunately, the government of the United States has shut down poor Ferg's business to ship to the States. But still, go follow him on Instagram and Facebook. Give him a like, give him some comments, share it. So hopefully he can start shipping here to the States soon. So we're going to get into today's edition of Uncle Jimmy's podcast. We're going to be talking about Long Island. I got a good friend down there. I went down, visited. We had an unbelievable weekend. Showed me around the town. And this is a Halloween edition. We're going to be talking about Montauk. We're going to be talking about Shirley, the laboratory. And then we're going to get into the very end about the spacecraft that is flying towards Earth right now as we speak, and nobody seems to know what the fuck it is. So let's go. Here we go. Today, we're heading out to the farthest tip of Long Island, a place where the ocean meets old military secrets, a place called Montauk, home to one of the most bizarre, far-reaching conspiracy theories in modern history. Mind control, time travel, experiments, and maybe a government cover-up that inspired Stranger Things. Let's dive in. Montauk is real. It's just not the name from a Netflix show. Out there sits Camp Hero, a decommissioned military base built during World War II. Officially, it was a coastal defense site, watching for German submarines. But after the war, it didn't go quiet. Locals reported strange things, lights flickering at night, low-frequency hums coming from underground, and trucks entering a base that was supposedly shut down. Something about Camp Hero didn't add up. And then decades later, a man named Preston Nichols blew the story wide open. In 1992, Nichols published the Montauk Project, Experiments in Time. In it, he claimed that secret government scientists working beneath Camp Hero were experimenting with electromagnetic mind control and time manipulation. He said that this program began in the 70s, continuing a rumored Navy experiment from 1943, the Philadelphia experiment. Nichols said Montauk was the next phase. They were testing simplification using something called the Montauk chair, a device that could project human thought into reality. Children were allegedly used for tests. Some, he claimed, were gifted, others abducted. And that's when things got darker. Nichols said that one of the test subjects, a boy named Duncan, became so powerful, his subconscious thoughts manifested physically. He dreamed of a creature, and that creature appeared, a massive, violent being that destroyed the facility from within. The next day, the project was shut down, the base sealed, and the records erased, or so the legend goes. I was up there, and you can still see the base is completely shut down. There is a tower up there, a big, huge tower with a radar on top of it. I went up there, I took some photos. You're going to see that on my YouTube, and it was absolutely huge. It's massive. The place is, but the underground bunkers and the army base, it's completely sealed shut. You can't even get in there. You can't even see what's in there. No tours, no nothing, completely sealed. Absolutely crazy. But did you know before it became Stranger Things, the Duffer Brothers' original concept was titled Montauk, set in the same coastal town. A boy disappearing, a child escaping from a lab, and a portal to another dimension. The Duffers later moved the story to Indiana, but the DNA of Montauk is all over it. Preston Nichols wasn't the only one making claims. Another man, Al Belock, said he had first-hand experience. According to Belock, he was part of both the Philadelphia experiment and the Montauk Project. He claimed he and his brother traveled through time even to the year 2749 before being sent back to shut down the project. He described vast tunnels beneath Camp Hero, alien technology, and experiments blending human consciousness with machines. It's the kind of story that sounds impossible until you realize how much real science the government was quietly testing during the Cold War. Today, Camp Hero is open to the public, sort of. It's technically a state park, but certain sections remain sealed off. Walk too far and you'll hit restricted signs, fenced areas, cameras. When asked about the rumors, the government's response is simple. There were no experiments at Montauk. That's exactly what they said about MK Ultra until the documents surfaced. When I was up there, when I was taking the photos, and literally there was two kids that came out. We were talking to them, and obviously We asked them what was up there. Were they in any of the buildings? And they said they were. The kid told us his brother was in one of the living quarters. And behind the wallpaper, they had scraped some of it off and peeled some of it off. And behind it was like this translucent paper behind it, that they were conducting mind control in there and experiments in there, and it was just pretty creepy. But I was up there for probably a good 2.5 minutes, and when I came out, the Rangers were right there behind us. So they know who's up there, they know people are going in, and, no time, boom, quick response, they were there. But let's step back for a second. There's no verifiable evidence that any of these Montauk experiments actually happened. Most researchers believe Nichols fabricated much of the story, possibly inspired by real government programs mixed with science fiction. Still, the mystery persists because it feels possible. We know governments lie. We know secret experiments happen. And when a place like Camp Hero stands silent, rusting, and half closed, our imagination fills in the blanks. So what do you think? Was the Montauk Project just Cold War paranoia gone wild? Or did something truly extraordinary happen beneath that radar tower? The radar tower is absolutely massive. You'll see it on my YouTube. You can visit Camp Hero today, walk the trails, stand beneath the old radar dish, and listen. If you're quiet enough, you just might hear the echoes of experiments that never officially existed. Up next, we're going to talk about the Brookhaven National Laboratory that's also in Long Island. A sprawling complex of fenced-off buildings and underground tunnels. To some, it's a symbol of American innovation, home to Nobel winning physicists and world-class research. To others, it's a place of secrecy, radiation leaks, and experiments that should never have happened. Was Brookhaven hiding something more than science? Tonight we open the file on Brookhaven's conspiracies, from nuclear leaks to UFOs, black holes, and whispers of time travel. Brookhaven began in 1947 on the grounds of a former Army base in Upton, New York. The Cold War had just begun. America needed places to push the limits of physics, nuclear particle, and energy research. It was meant to be a place of progress, but almost from the beginning, locals were uneasy. They called it the place behind the trees, a government facility working with radiation, classified data, and machines that could split atoms just miles from quiet neighborhoods. That combination, secrecy and science, was fuel for suspicion. In 1997, the story broke. Water containing radioactive tritium had been leaking around from Brookhaven's high-flux beam reactor, possibly for years. Officials said it wasn't dangerous, that the leak posed no health risk. By then, trust was gone. Environmental groups demanded the reactor be shut down. Politicians toured the site. News cameras rolled. The damage wasn't just radioactive, it was reputational. Locals asked, if they missed this, what else are they hiding? And that's when the theories began to multiply. Some Long Island residents still swear that Brookhaven's problem started long before the leak, maybe as far back as 1992. That year, a glowing object was seen falling near Shirley, New York, just a few miles from Brookhaven. Firefighters were turned away, roads closed, and the story disappeared. Then came the whispers. The object was taken to Brookhaven Lab. We're going to get into the Shirley one UFO right after this. For years, locals reported strange lights over the facility, and one particularly viral claim that Brookhaven's particle accelerator shot down a UFO. The lab denied it, of course, but the timing, just after the alleged Shirley crash, kept the story alive. Even Symmetry magazine, the lab's official publication, once ran a piece titled, "Nope, no UFOs at Brookhaven," which for believers only made things sound more suspicious. In the late 1990s, Brookhaven built something new. Relativistic Heavy Ion Collider, or RHIC, a machine that smashes atomic nuclei together at near light speed. Scientists said it would recreate the conditions of the Big Bang. Skeptics and some tabloids said it could end the world. They claimed RHIC might create miniature black holes or strange matter that could devour the planet. The lab ran safety reviews, published papers, and assured the public it was impossible. But by then, the seed was planted. Brookhaven wasn't just experimenting, it was playing God. In the conspiracy lore, that never ends well. After the tritium scandal, residents of nearby towns Shirley, Yaphank, Mastic began reporting high cancer rates. Activists claimed Brookhaven had poisoned the groundwater. The lab said there was no link. The truth? It's complicated. No definitive study proved a connection, but trust had already collapsed. Celebrities joined the cause. Even Alec Baldwin called for the lab's closure. When science meets secrecy, perception often wins, and for many Long Islanders, Brookhaven became a symbol of what happens when government hides behind barbed wires. In fringe circles, Brookhaven is connected to another infamous Long Island legend, the Montauk Project that we just talked about. According to conspiracy lore, Brookhaven developed mind control or time manipulation technology, later moved to Camp Hero in Montauk. It said the two sites were once connected by underground tunnels. The Brookhaven's particle research fed into Project Phoenix, a program merging psychology, quantum energy, and interdimensional physics. Wild. Absolutely wild. But the same names, dates, and agencies show up in both stories, a pattern too neat for true believers. So why does Brookhaven sit at the center of so many conspiracies? Because it has all the ingredients. Real secrecy, real accidents, real power. The truth is complicated and the consequences invisible. People fill in the blanks. In the end, Brookhaven's mystery isn't about aliens or black holes. It's about trust. Once lost, it's harder to recover than any radioactive isotope. Today, Brookhaven National Lab is still running, still making discoveries, still surrounded by fences and questions. Science is built on curiosity. So are conspiracies. Maybe, in the end, they're not so different. Both searching for meaning in the dark. I was out there to the Brookhaven National Lab. You cannot even get close to it. You come in on the roundabout and forget about it. To the left, to the right, you have to go through security to get in there. It's nearly impossible. It's just hidden in plain sight, but access is denied to everybody and anybody that tries to get in there except those that are allowed. But being up there and seeing all that, first Montauk and then to Brookhaven, it was absolutely awe-inspiring. There's definitely something going on. Definitely hiding some shit up there. A lot of shit. But think about it. They're talking about a tunnel that goes all the way from Montauk to Shirley, basically, to the Brookhaven Lab. So that's absolutely huge. Thinking about that tunnel that goes from Montauk all the way down to Shirley, which is like a 50-minute ride. That goes all the way. Just think about that. So next we're going to get into the story of Shirley UFO crash. Shirley, Long Island. Quiet coastal town with beaches, pine forests, and one of the strangest stories you've probably never heard. November 1992. An object streaks across the sky. It crashes deep inside the South Haven County Park, and then, according to witnesses, men in black SUVs sail off the area within minutes. So here come the men in black. You got Jay and whatever else his name was coming. Some call it a cover-up, others say it was a meteor, but locals still whisper something crashed in those woods, and it wasn't from here. Let's go back to that night. It's November 24th, 1992, the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Sunset, just after 4:30 p.m. The air is crisp, and Long Island commuters are heading home along Sunrise Highway, Route 27. Around 7 p.m., witnesses started calling police. They report a cylindrical object with flashing lights moving silently over Shirley. Some say it was glowing blue and white. Others describe it as on fire. Moments later, a thunderous boom shakes windows across town, then silent. Within minutes, the woods of South Haven Park erupt with activity. Sirens, lights, fire trucks, but then, according to multiple locals, the response stops. Roads are closed. Unmarked vehicles arrive, and the story starts to vanish as quickly as it appeared. Residents along Victory Avenue said they saw flames rising through the trees. Others recalled a chemical smell drifting on the wind. Local volunteer firefighters later claimed they were turned away before reaching the site, told the situation was under control. By morning, the park was sealed. A helicopter hovered over the woods. Trucks rolled in under heavy tarp, and any evidence, whatever it was, disappeared. When people called the county office for details, they were told the incident never happened. But newspaper archives and early cable listings mentioned something curious. Planned TV segment about a UFO crash in Shirley, New York, scheduled for broadcast that winter. No recording of that show has ever been found. So what really fell from the sky that night? I'm going through some things. Over the years, I've found several eyewitness stories, fragments that paint a haunting picture. One says, I was driving east on Sunrise. There was this bright thing. Not a plane, not a helicopter. It was huge. Then it just dropped. The ground shook. Next day, cops everywhere. From another person, we tried to get into the park that morning. Trails were blocked. Park rangers said maintenance issue. Maintenance? In November? Even decades later, people around Shirley still talk about broken trees, scorched soil, and wildlife that vanished from that section of the woods. A local archivist noted that aerial maps taken in 1993 show a patch of oddly discolored vegetation right where witnesses claim the object came down. Coincidence? Maybe not. But legends have roots. Just a few miles east of South Haven Park sits Brookhaven National Laboratory, a top-tier federal research center known for nuclear physics, particle accelerators, and energy projects. For years, UFO researchers have tied Brookhaven to the Shirley crash. Why? because it's something strange did fall from the sky, Brookhaven would be the team called in. They have hazmat units, containment labs, and military-adjacent clearance. Theorists claim debris in the crash was taken through Brookhaven's gates under heavy security that same night. Of course, the lab denies everything. Their official statement: no record of any recovery incident or partnership with Suffolk County Emergency Services on that date. Still, the proximity, the timing, and the secrecy all fuel the fire. When you dig through archives, the gap tells the story. Police logs from that week, missing. County park maintenance records, unavailable due to data migration. No FAA incident reports, no media tracked by NASA or National Weather Service. New York Heritage Digital Collection lists 2 pieces from the early 90s referencing a UFO crash in Shirley. And a nationwide TV special. Someone, somewhere thought it was worth documenting. So why does no one talk about it now? Let's be honest, there are plenty of earthly explanations. A small plane off radar, a satellite fragment burning up, or maybe a controlled military test from nearby labs or bases. Memory can blur, stories grow with time, but still, when witnesses agree on what they saw, when the government stays silent and when the ground itself seems changed, it's hard not to wonder. Maybe Shirley's 1992 mystery isn't about aliens at all. Maybe it's about how truth disappears when institutions choose silence. Today, South Haven County Park is peaceful. Families picnicking, hikers tracing trails through tall pines, but in one quiet corner the trees grow in strange patterns, and some locals still swear they feel an energy in the air. You stand there long enough, they say, and still smell the smoke. So what do you believe? A fallen aircraft, a government test, or something from beyond our sky? Whatever it was, it left a scar, not just in the ground, but in memory. Current alien mothership, they claim, that is coming to Earth soon.
Home phone.
So up next, this is going to be the last segment of the podcast. We're going to get into the mystery of the Three-Eye Atlas. Is it an alien visitor or cosmic ice ball? All right, folks, buckle up, because today we're diving into one of the most intriguing space stories of the year. The interstellar object known as Three-Eye Atlas. Is it just a comet? Or could it be something more? Yeah, this one's got everything. Government silence, weird visuals, and even whispers of alien technology. So let's break it down. What is Three-Eye Atlas? Three-Eye Atlas, officially designated C202583, is the third confirmed interstellar object to pass through our solar system. It was spotted by NASA's Atlas telescope in Chile, and it's moving fast, like 210,000 kilometers per hour fast. That speed plus its hyperbolic trajectory means it's not it means it's not from around here, literally. The conspiracy buzz? Now here's where things get weird. Some amateur astronomers and UFO enthusiasts started sharing blurry telescope images that looked, well, not like a comet, more like a spacecraft, cylindrical with fins. And just as it was making a close pass by Mars in early October, NASA went radio silent thanks to a government shutdown. That timing? Suspicious to some. Then came the claims, leaked reports, exotic materials, even suggestions that Congress was briefed about this object years before the public knew. But as all these stories, what do they have in common? All these stories have in common is that the government is radio silent. The government is silent. They don't want to speak about it. They don't know about it. It didn't happen. But what the scientists have to say, NASA and the European Space Agency have both said clearly, Three-Eye Atlas is a natural comet. Spectral analysis shows water vapor, carbon dioxide, typical comet stuff. No alien alloys, no propulsion system. Harvard's Avi Loeb, you might remember him from the Oumuamua debates, published some speculative papers, but even he had said there was no hard evidence. Why the hype? Let's be real. The idea of an alien visitor is exciting, and when you mix in a government shutdown, strange visuals, and a lack of clear communication, it's easy for conspiracy theories to take off. But as of now, there's no credible evidence that Three-Eye Atlas is anything other than a cosmic ice ball passing through our neighborhood. Still, it's a reminder of how little we know about what's out there. Every interstellar object is a chance to learn and maybe, just maybe, to dream a little bigger. Stay curious, folks, and keep looking up. But to me, I don't know. I'm a firm believer that there is something out there, that there are maybe beings, maybe there are aliens, maybe there are spacecrafts. But one of the biggest things I was reading about this Three-Eye Atlas is that it said it went offline for 20 minutes. But when it came back on, there was basically what they were claiming from this guy online, conspiracy theorist, that the mothership was in the middle. And there was 2 ships to the left, 2 ships to the right. So now there's 5 ships heading towards Earth. I mean, talk about Project Bluebeam. We're not going to get into it because it's getting late here in the podcast. But Project Bluebeam is another government program that they're going to fake an alien invasion and do all this shit. But, you know, to me, aliens, if they do exist, the perfect time to come. America right now is, you know, Trump's just being crazy. They're probably up there. If they're up there and they're friggin' up speeding down to Earth right now, they're like, yeah, this experiment's over. You know, they've had enough. They've had enough of everything. There's too much shit going on in this world. And they just had enough. So they're just going to come and shut it down. You know, do your own research, like I said. This is some research I did on my own. This is Halloween month, so I'm going to be getting into stories this month. Similar UFO, scary stories, things like that. But I'm a firm believer, like I said, there's shit out there. I don't know. I don't know if there's spacecrafts and spaceships and technology, but I don't know. Aliens, it seems far-fetched to me, but I don't know. I just can't wrap my head around it. But I also just can't wrap my head around that we're on, Earth, which is a round ball, and we're just spinning and we're all living here. I don't know. It's just something that's different. It's something that's out there, something far out there. But is there something out there? I don't know. Is the government hiding it? If there is something out there, the government's definitely hiding. The government loves to hide shit. The government loves to hide everything. You know, the files, Epstein files, hidden. Government shut down. Massive mothership coming towards Earth. Government shut down, nothing we can do. You know, there was a video I'm going to post on YouTube. You know, I'm going to have a little, some of my pictures from Montauk, some of my pictures from Brookhaven, some of my pictures from Shirley Park at, that's not the name of it, South Haven Park. I'm going to upload those, and then I'm going to upload some, you know, it's all going to be in one video, so you can go to YouTube and watch it. It'll probably come out tomorrow, about some government officials, some senators, some congressmen talking about UFOs and UAPs and all that. But I think we're in, not trying times, I think we're in dire times. I think shit's getting real, and the aliens had enough, so they said, fuck it. You know, it's time to shut this shit down. If they come, you know what? And if they are real and they come, just think about it. There's nothing you can do. So just live your life. Have fun. Have a blast. Enjoy your weekend. I hope you enjoyed these stories. You can follow us at Uncle Jimmy's Podcast on Facebook, at Uncle Jimmy's Podcast on Instagram. And like I said, go check out YouTube. We're going to have some videos coming tomorrow. A nice video on all that we talked about today. And go check it out. Go subscribe, like, comment, and share. I hope you guys had fun. I had fun doing this one. Peace and love. Peace and love. Uncle Jimmy out.